Okay, beautiful people. I hope you're doing great. Great. If you can hear me clearly, please type 1. Thank you very much. Would you please confirm if Justin, good afternoon. Thank you very much. Would you please confirm the code that I share with you works for the add class code? Thank you very much. I would be thankful. Hello, Daniel. Thank you, guys. I would be thankful if you just take care of it. If any of our friends joined us later, please let them know. If you go to the course content, Shahir, by tomorrow night, I'm going to announce it. And please allow me to answer that as the last thing that we are going to discuss outside the flow of the course today. I talked to Mazio, and he was kind to accept the challenges that could have happened based on the changes. So we will officially announce it. The due instead of 5th of January, 5th of February, would move to Thursday, 8th of February. But I need to announce it publicly and officially. This is just unofficial announcement. Okay. So everybody, please go to the My Pleasure. Let me just close my camera and then share the screen with you. Okay. If today I cannot check regularly our messages and questions, my apologies, because we are a little bit behind the schedule and you need this knowledge for completing your assignment as well as your lab exercises. So please allow me to quickly and directly go to the content. You can go to your course content and see there is one file that is week 3 and 4. We expected that it's going to take more than 1 week. So please first drag and drop that file into your Colab. We have quiz every week. If there is no quiz, I'm going to announce it. The default is we have it always. Okay, please just confirm if you can just see the same. Search for you remember I have mentioned in the group where we end up. We were just before this, yeah, it's 0. If you search for 0 time, 0, it's gonna just bring you to here. Okay, everybody, is it, oops, it's too much. Can you please confirm that it is clear for everyone? No. Okay, so I'm gonna just hide the, I'm just gonna hide the chat because I want to quickly cover these parts, and once in a while we are gonna If you need any more zoom, Alexis, you can use magnifier at your end too. Okay, so let's go to this part. Say shift enter students and movies. It contains the names of the movies, the year, and the, for instance, price of the ticket, for example. And then the other thing is, for instance, we have two movies here, and then we are gonna define an empty, list, and we append these elements one at a time. So it's gonna first make movie like just the meaning of life. Then it's going to add 1983, and then it's going to add, oh, sorry, it's the rating, I don't know. Rating should be between 0 to 10, so it should be a price, for example. I don't know. So we are going to have that, and if you just say, append that, look at this, it's going to bring that block at the end of the list of movies. Does that make sense? Okay, so now it's like a matrix that we have. Imagine, let me just new. Exactly like a simple Excel file, we are going to have the name in here, and then it's going to be the year, for instance, 1975, and then 9.99 here. For the next one, you're going to have this one here. And the year is going to appear right after that, which is going to be 1979. And the last one, the meaning of life. Would be there. And the year is 1983. And I think the ticket price or whatever, it's this one, and it is. Why I just brought it into Excel, because like any Excel file that you can use to different values to address. So imagine that here we have column number 0, then we have column number 1, and then we have column number 2. You're going to have the same thing here, 1, 2, and 3. I'm sorry, we start from 0, 0, 1, and 2. And whenever we say 0 and 0, it's going to just point to this yellow one. If this is clear for you guys, let me just bring the chat up. If it is clear, please type 1. Thank you very much. And now look at the next one. So this is when we say 0 and 2, it means that we are talking about row number 2, index number 2, and then 0. So it's gonna just bring what? It's gonna be, sorry, row number 0 and column number 2, row number 0 and column number 2. It's gonna be 9.99. So now tell me, if I say row number 2 and column number 1, what could be the output? Can you please type? I say two, comma, 1 means row number 2 and column number 1. What is the intersection of these two? Excellent. Yes, index number 2 here. There's always a bit of confusion that when I say row 2, does it mean to make it clearer, I meant the row with index 2, which is going to be this place. Okay. So, and you see, for instance, it said the example, if we say row number 1 and column number 0, row number 1, index 1, and column number 0, life of brain, and then that's pretty much it. But if you say row index 3, do we have any row with index 3? Because we don't have, it's going to raise index out of range, right? Awesome. So now imagine that I want to, and this is something that you are going to see in the quiz, so please pay very much attention to this point. I still receive some of our team members that they say, Reza, I missed a quiz or something. So please just consider every week we have quiz. It's going to be right after the class available, and you can just answer it till Thursday, 11:59 before midnight. So if I just say I have Reza Ibaj, and then I say and terminated with space, tilde, space, it's going to show everything in one line, just split them with tilde. So if I just say asterisk, what's going to happen then? So definitely the same thing, but just split it with asterisk, right? But what if you don't have it, guys? It's going to split it into 3. Like it works like console write line or system out println, right? Something like that. And the thing is, if you just say pipe, what's going to happen? If you have something like for every movie in movies and for item in movies, imagine that what actually happens here. This is the range that we are going to consider, right? So for every single, first, it says that for movie in movies means first row, second row, third row. This is how we could say, for instance, I equal to 0, I equal to 1, I equal to 2. But in every single row, then we have the inner loop that says, for every item in movie, then do what? Just print that item and then split it with a bar sign. And whenever we are done with one entire row, which is going to happen here, then just print open close parentheses. It is something like \n, right? So it brings us to the next row. Okay. So that is why it's going to show everything. What if I get rid of that print here? What's going to happen? Then it's going to just print everything all in one line, right? Let's have a numerical list. And guys, because you have it at your end, the good thing is you just need to run it. Please tell me, what do you think the function that I use, the method count 14, is gonna bring us? Is it the position, the index, or the number of repetition of one element? What do you think? Lovely, Michael, you're absolutely right. It's the number of occurrence. So if Abdul Ghaffar, bravo. So if we say that, for instance, count is equal to numList, but count 14, what's going to happen? It's going to show you 2. Let me just add one more thing here. For instance, if I say 14, and again 14, and again 14. In that case, if I just run the code again, it's going to show me 5, right? And the thing is, okay, because the rest of the examples are based on just that list, let me just not confuse you with the predefined answers. I use the comment or hashtag here. Okay. So if we have 5, 15, 84, all the way to 25, when I say reverse, what's going to happen? It's going to just bring it back. It's going to be 25 first, 15, 10, all the way to 5. You see that? What if I say dot sort? My question for you is it going to happen in place? Or the numList would stay as it was before and we just show the sorted list? What do you think? Item A is to sort in place. Item B, it just shows, but the list is unsorted. A or B, you think? Okay, thanks for participation. Look at this one. I just say that sort, and if I say numList, you are gonna see it is already sorted, right? So the sort happens in place, means it's gonna overwrite the original one. Then you have all the right to say, what if Reza, I would just want to show it? In that case, you are gonna use method sort and you pass the list as a parameter. So you're not gonna touch we are gonna see that in no time. So guys, by saying that, you see option A is correct. Equally, I appreciate those who participated and said A or B. Let's say numList.sort, and if I say reverse is equal to true, means that instead of ascending order, let's sort it in descending order. So it's gonna be, if I just say reverse is equal to true, then it's going to be 84, 25, 15, and so on, all the way to 2. Huh? Yes, I'll go for it. Bravo. Okay, so now get back to the question that I asked you. One quick question. One quick question. Here we have orange, apple, pear, and banana. So technically, my guess is the sort should happen. If I say sorted, it's going to be apple, banana, orange, and pear. Do you think it is going to happen like that? Yes or no? Alphabetically. Lovely. Excellent. I love this participation and this form. Exactly as you mentioned. As you mentioned, if you just say sort, you're going to see, surprisingly enough, it shows pair at the beginning. And the reason for that is the ASCII code for capital letters are 65 to 91. You might say, if you just, unfortunately, my keyboard here doesn't have the numerical pad. It just works with the numerical pad. If you have a keyboard that has numerical pad, just press Alt and say 65. What's going to happen? It's going to show you capital A, huh? And just press 97. What's going to show you, guys? Can you please tell me? Alt 97. Yeah, what's gonna be the character? Excellent. Thank you, Alexis. It's gonna be. So by saying that, what if I want to, what if I want to, not considering lower or upper? In that case, I just need to say food list dot sort and key is equal to stir dot lower, means that no matter if it is uppercase or lowercase, consider them all as lowercase and then sorts them. Okay. If it is clear what I shared here, please type 1. Thank you very much, friend. Look at the next part. If I say sorted underscore food list and say sorted food list, what's going to happen? It is going to, that is something which is a little bit confusing. And I'm going to tell you why it is confusing. Because you cannot use the same concept for saying food list dot sort. Think about it, why we cannot say for something like here, we cannot say num list. Let me just show you one thing. Why we cannot say num list equal to this. And if you say num list, it's gonna show you nothing. Isn't it strange? Think about it, and next week, bring me the answer. And I would love to see what you can do with this question. And I'm gonna give bonus mark to the best interpretation. Okay. Look, if I say sorted food list and bring it to sorted food list, and I run that, it's going to replace the sorted food list or place sorted food place the sorted version of the list inside this variable. And it can be anything. It can be, for instance, AAA. I'm sorry. And so I want to say it has nothing to do with the name. So if I run that, it's going to show you the same result. And if you just want to do the same thing, saying the lower or uppercase shouldn't be an issue, you're going to just say key equal to stir dot lower, and it's going to show you alphabetically ordered, no matter if it is lower or uppercase. Okay, we have other functions or methods. Look, you can just simply say, this is the list, find the minimum of it for me, find the maximum of it for me. And you can simply type the min and the max values. What if you want to have a random choice out of the bag of options that you have? You need to import a library called random. So you say import random, you have num list, and then you say, hey, random.choice, and you pass the list into it. So it's going to show you this number. I'm sure that if you run it at your end or run it several times, you're going to see different answers each time that you run it. This is because of the nature of random. What if I want to shuffle the list, means randomly order them, not in ascending or descending. We just want to randomize the position of each of those values. And look at here. It's going to be 10, 14, 84, and so on. It's not ordered, random, and it is randomly placed. What if I have list 1 equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? And what if I say, this is kind of important. When we say list 1, please place it inside list 2. And you change just the value in index number 2 of list 2. right? I didn't change, I didn't touch list one. But if you say, hey, please print for me list one and list two, surprisingly enough, it's going to show both of the values already changed. If you just search if you just search, it's going to show you something like this. And the funny thing is, it is going to just show the call by reference means it's a kind of animation. Call by reference means when you change the value of one, it is going to change both values. And here, call by value means if you change the value of copied one, it's not gonna change the value of the original one. Does that make sense? If you got that, yeah, as Huang Bing correctly said, it's like copied, it's a kind of call by reference, okay? So technically, if you want to imagine this, we have just one object here, but two cameras, they just focus on one object, one list. And if you change either of them, either list one or two, it's gonna impact both because it's just one object. And as Alex has said, that reference thing was useful for the, well, yeah, in object-oriented, that's one of the things that we address. So the list, we can understand that the list concept in Python is like arrays in C#, for example, that are called by reference. But now you want to say, what if, Reza, I just want to change the value of one? What can I do? This is the solution. You have to say import copy. And then you're going to say copy dot deep copy of list one into list two means that, hey, I don't want to refer or reference the same memory location, but I'm going to copy that in the other memory location. So they are going to be two totally separate entities. And in that case, if you say, I want to change the index one of list two, it's going to change only list two and list one stays intact. Okay. So I would be thankful if you got everything so far. Please type 5. Give me a high five. So just only about the concept that we have already talked till this moment. If there is any specific question or concern, I repeat, just about the concept that we have already covered, please let me know. Otherwise, please allow me to continue. So 10 replaces 1, and we do not need any code to delete 1. We didn't talk about deleting or something. We just wanted to say, look at this one. We have list 1 that occupies one part of the memory. Okay. Just allow me to do something. To respect the question that I received from our friend, just give me a second. Imagine that we have a memory location. I'm sorry. Imagine that we have a memory location like this that contains, as I said, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And we call it list 1. If I say list 2, and I mention is equal to, pay attention to this part. If I say is equal to list 1, technically it is just pointing to the same location of the memory. So the index of here is 0, 1, 2, and 3. And in the case that I say list underscore 2 index 1 should be changed to 4. Tell me, I'm going to change this index 1, right? I'm going to change this one to 4, but what do you see here? You see that here we change both technically because it points to the same location of the memory, right? If it is clear, Murad, please just type 1. In the next part, we said that it is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's call this one list 1. And if I say deep copy of this one means assign a separate memory location for list 2. And go and see what you have here. If it is 1, copy this one here. If it is 2, copy this one here. If it is 3, copy that and copy that one, right? Does that make sense? So in that case, if you say, I want to change the index 1 to 4 because it's totally different location of the memory. So what's going to happen? List 1 stays intact and list 2 just changes this value because they are 2 separate locations. Murad, if it is clear now, please type 1 again. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, because I try to remember, that happens once in a while, but I forget to switch to the main page. So if that happens, please remind me to, my pleasure. Please remind me to bring you back to this that I'm explaining. Thank you. So imagine that we have numbers contain 52, 54, all the way to 62. When I say start from 0 means index 0, all the way to 2 means 0, 1, but not 2. So the output would be 52 and 54, but not 56. You're going to see lots of examples in the next semester and 2 semesters from now that why we do not include the right side, why it is excluded on the right side. Whenever you don't mention anything, if it is on the left side means start from index number 0. If it is on the right side means go all the way to the end, including the last element. So let's just go through 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I say 4, colon, nothing means from position number 4, index number 4, all the way to the end. And then if I say from 0 to 4 means from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 4 for sure. And if I say step 2 means every other element, means 52, not 54, 56, not 58, and definitely not 60, right? What if I say everything means from the beginning all the way to the end, but -1. Negative, when you see the negative number, means that you have to start from the last element going backward. So 62, 60, 58, all the way to 52. You see that. It is similar to say numbers, whatever it has, but reverse. So now we want to start using some functions like concatenation. So imagine that the inventory contains staff and rope, and chest has scroll and pistol. So if you say that inventory plus chest, it's going to just add those 2 lists together, concatenate them technically. So let's just run it. And then after that, if you say print them, right, the inventory is still what it was, and chest what it was. But if you want to replace it, you can simply say inventory what it was plus the chest, means add a new listing to it. Now a new inventory contains everything that it had before, like staff and row, plus everything that chest has. And okay, there is one thing Um, I'm going to share this link with you. So you already have those friends that but for any reason they can't see that. I'm gonna mute myself and let's just watch that for 5 minutes and we are gonna get back to continue our journey. And it is about tuple. Whenever it is enough and we don't need to go to the rest, I'm gonna just pause and get back to the class. So please let's start watching together. I've muted myself. Thank you. Okay, if you could hear, if you could watch the whole content, please type 1. The TOEFL is a kind of challenging topic for most of people. At the beginning, they don't know the difference between lists and tuples. And the thing is, watching a few videos can just shed light on the concept and just give us better understanding and deeper understanding. I'm saying it in general. Not everybody knows, or not everybody is aware of everything. And from now on, whether you want it or not, people are gonna count on you as professionals. The worst thing that could happen is to underestimate that fact and just show something which is not professional. When you go to a session, definitely 95% of the topics are repetitive from now on. But even for that 5% and to respect the others, you have to just be there, listen to everybody, and just see what they are talking about. So saying that I understand that or I know that or something, it's just you show your position. The thing is here, if we say stats is equal to something like this, it's pretty much like this. We have a series of numbers, but the thing is, if you just say yes, the same as that, instead of brackets, it's going to show just parentheses. And then if I just use the same thing for strings, it does the same stuff. But the problem happens even for the movies that you have different types. Just the only thing that happens here is if you say, show me the herbs index number 0, it's going to be lavender. You can just do the same thing, like show me the last element. Show me just a fraction of it, the slice of it, 1, 2, 4. But what if you say, guys, intentionally, you can just try it at your end. If you uncomment it, and it's going to show you kind of error. It says the tuple object does not support item assignment. So next element, and that's the beautiful thing in Python, some other languages like C#, they started applying this concept. It was not there. They just want to not stay behind of the race that we already have. So they added these features, but the initiation happened by modern languages like Python. So you have a tuple that contains 1, 2, 3. And if you say place the values in A, B, and C, it's going to place them respectively in A, B, and C. You don't need to bother, you don't need to do anything, or just going through the loop or something that we had in other languages before. We just, for that simple line of code, we needed to go to a long road, a long way. The other thing is in here, it's going to be set. If I want to tell you one thing, set is exactly like a list. The only difference is the repetition has no rule. So you can have, if you say set ABC and you want to see the result, that's one way. If you say if you say C, lots of C's, and then you say, show me the set, you're gonna see that still it shows ABC. It means the repetition has no rule. What is the usage of that? Imagine that you want to see the number of the provinces that you have in Canada, the objects that you have in one chain store, the days that we have in a week. For all of them, there is no room for repetition. You just want to have a list of provinces, a list of objects that we have, or the days in a week. So we use, one approach is using set. The other thing is using curly braces. So please pay attention to this part. Curly braces. This is the same thing. This is the same approach. And if you just say cherry, 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 apple, banana, it doesn't care about the repetition. It's going to just show you apple, cherry, and banana. Guys, if everything so far is super clear, please type 5. Give me another high five. Thank you very much. I appreciate everybody. So the thing is, we have here my set that contains what is new about this. Intentionally, we wanted to show that we could have a character or string, so character string, the same thing in Python, an integer and a floating point, a double or float. And if you say that, show me the set, it exactly does the same thing. Now we want to see about the repetition I told you before. So it's going to just show you A, B, C, and D, regardless of number of repetitions of each of the items. And we have some operators here. One of them is AND, means what do we have in common between two or number of sets. Imagine that A has A, B, C, D, and B has C, D, E, F. What is common among these two, C and D? Let's look at it together. So it's going to say A underscore set and B underscore set, and it's going to show you C and D. The same thing applies if you say B underscore set dot intersection A underscore set, and it's going to show you the same thing. If you use ampersand or if you use intersection. Now, my question for you is, what could be the answer for such a thing? I just changed, instead of B underscore set intersection A underscore set, I just switched those two values. Would it be different? If it is different, please tell me. If it is, then please type A. If it is the same, please type B. A, the same, B, different. Sorry, I confused, just guys, my apologies. I have to, write it down not to confuse people. It's going to be exactly the same, because no matter if you start from the left side or from the right side, the common area would stay the same. How about if you just want to see the differences? Please pay attention to this one. Here I say A set minus B set. Whatever I have in A minus the things that I have in B. So definitely it's going to be A, B, but not C and D that belongs to B set. Is it clear, guys? So I repeat it again. A set, which contains A, B, and C, minus C and D, which belongs to B, right? Awesome. In that case, you're going to see it will be totally different. If you say B set, which contains C, D, E, F, minus A, so it's going to just get rid of the common values like C and D. So for that case, it's going to be E and F. That is why if you say B set dot difference, A set is going to show you, as you see, E and F. But if you switch these values, like say A and B, means get A, negative the things that they have in common. It's going to be just like the first one. Lovely, Abdul Ghaffar, thank you. What about union? It's going to combine all the values that we have. So no matter what we have in A, what we have in B, just collect all the values. So it's going to just show you, and bar sign is what it shows. So you can simply say A set dot union B set, and simply if you just say if you just say B union A, it's gonna bring, my apologies, it's going to just show you exactly the same thing, right? Okay, how about symmetric differences? This is going to, it's like union minus the things that they have in common. So it's going to be A, B, E, F, but not C and D. We use that hat or hash. So it's going to be A set, symmetric B set. And please tell me, is it going to be the same S, or different D if I just switch A and B here? Good guess, Sherry. Exactly. Lovely. Thank you very much, Fatima. Look at the other thing. We just want to see if one group is a subset of the bigger one. So a small set is A, B, C, and the big set is A, B, C, D, E, F. So technically here, if I say, is a small set is a subsidiary, by saying subsidiary, I mean less than or equal a big set, and it says true. Is big set a bigger set that includes the values in a small set? True again. Is big set a subsidiary of a small set? No, so it's going to just show you false. And now by saying that, we get to one of the very much useful tools that we have in Python, and that is nothing but dictionaries. Dictionaries in deep learning has a huge, gigantic role, especially in something like sentiment analysis. We use dictionaries. 2 semesters from now, you're going to just work with dictionaries for sentiment analysis in Reuters news, and you're going to use it for saying positive or not positive about the ideas of people. So please pay very special attention to this one. Technically, we have keys and we have values, and they are going to show in a pair. So here, for instance, we have a dictionary that contains A key, which represents 100, and B, which represents 200. Listen to me. Whenever you use a dictionary, for example, normal English dictionary, you have a word that would be the key. The definition of that word, for instance, book, a combination of pages together. So book is a key. And the definition that you have would be the value part. So everyone, please run this line. So it's going to be D, A, 100, B, 200. And we are going to have that one. What if I just want to replace the A value, by addressing it? It's going to work like an index. Go to the key A and change the value from 100 to 400. Let's see what's going to happen. If I say, show me the content of the dictionary, it's going to say A, which contains 400 because I have just changed it, and B stays intact the way that it was. And if I say D, C, now it's a new key in here, and you assign 500, it's going to add it to your list the way that you see at the end. What if you want to get rid of one of the elements, one of the key value pairs? Simply just say del. And now if you check, you see that there's no sign of A anymore. What if you say D dot copy? Please pay attention. Now you're familiar with the concept of copy by reference, right? Copy, deep copy, or just having a shallow copy or call by reference. If I say D2 is equal to D dot copy, let's see what's going to happen. D is going to show you the same thing So B 200, C 500. And if I change D to the key value elements, if I say go to the index B, key B, and change it to 700, it's going to show you, yes, it is changed. And if you go and say, how about D? Look at here, intact. We just used copy. The way that we use deep copy, here we say copy. But if you say D3 is equal to D, guys, look at the difference. Here I just copied the values to a different location of the memory. Here I just say, hey, just refer to the same address. It's like you have a book, you assign a different label on the other side. It's just the same content. So D3, and if you just say, now change the index B or key B values into 1, 2, 3. D3 definitely is going to just show you 1, 2, 3. And now D, the same thing, it's changed. Guess you got it. It is reference, call by reference. The previous one is call by value. Okay. That's one of the ways that we use dictionaries, using key values. It's just the same concept, different formulas. We say dict for dictionary, and we pass. Guys, because it's a method, definitely start with parentheses. So don't confuse yourself why we have lots of parentheses and brackets. This is just things that we pass to a method. So methods should have parentheses. And here is a list of key values. That's it. In that case, if you say, show me the content of D, it's going to show you this. And then let's just play around a little bit with the methods that we have. If you say, show me the items, guys, items contain both keys and values. So it's going to show you keys and values. If you say, hey, just show me the keys, it's going to show you A and B. And if you say that, please show me the values, it's going to just show you the values, right? How about here? This time, we are going to use a kind of traditional way of 4 elements in D3. Show me the key. Do we have any modern? Yes, we are going to learn that. So here, if you say 4 key in D3, print keys, it's going to be AB. You can say key values in D3 items. It's going to just show you exactly the same thing, like A 100 and B 300 for keys and values. What if I just say for value in D3, just show me the value. So I expect to get 100 and 300. And by saying that, we already finished what we needed to finish for that. So please just open. Is there any concern, any question, or if everything is super, super clear, please give me another high five, type 5. Thank you very much, guys. You're awesome. Bravo. And what is the difference between copy and deep copy? Simon, we use copy for the dictionary while we use deep copy for the lists. Somebody has just named them differently, right? They're the same. Good question. Thanks for asking. Okay. My pleasure. Colab, please open a new Colab. Let me just get rid of that. The version that we use, free version, it has limited number of 3. So if you have lots of Colabs, there's a chance that, and there's just one thing we need to pay attention. Once in a while, please make sure that you save your work. It happens that it crashes because the amount of RAM that it dedicates to free version is not that much huge. So it's a good idea that we just save. So as long as we have code, definitely we have box. And our mission is to try our best to eliminate the problems that we have in our code. So how can we just get rid of those problems? Everybody already, because you guys in semester 4, I expect all of us to know what is happening when we say less than or equal. And I expect everybody knows that when we say equal, we technically want to see if A is equal to B. But if we say A equal to B, definitely it's gonna just assign the value inside B to A. And not equal in this language is exclamation equal sign. So you know that when we say 5 greater than 3, guys, could you already open the file? Let's just wait for a couple of seconds. And I sent you the interactive Python notebook file in the chat. I'm sorry, it went to a private chat. I send you all. And I wait for a couple of seconds to make sure you download and you just use it in Colab. By saying that, we have here 5 greater than 3. And if we say 5 equal 3, what's going to happen? Is it equal? No, it's going to just show me false. Is it equal to say, is it 5? Is it equal to 2 plus 3? Yes, so it's going to be true. Simply, you can say if 5 is greater than 3, say yes. Guys, please tell me, 5 greater than 3, is it true or false? I know that you know absolutely the answer, but so if I just say true, if I just say true instead of that, and then I just run it, it's going to just say yes. So did you get this point? That if you say something like, 5 greater than 3, right? Exactly. Or because it is true, if you say true because the condition is correct, does the same thing. What if we consider the, that is why I just mentioned, what if we consider the only true part? It's not the best practice. Whenever we have a chance to check both parts, the best is to check false condition and true condition. So here I say, if false, then say hello. Else, what is the else of false means true? In the true case, say bye. Like what? Instead of false, I could say, is 5 less than 3? It's false, right? So still, it's going to just show you the same thing. What if I say not false? Very simple. False is not acceptable, but not false is going to make it true. So then it's going to show you hello. And if I just say a false statement, is 5 less than 3? Not means just convert it. So it's going to just say hello, right? That kind of thing. There is something that we call it the logical table that we have for the logical statements. And please give me a second. My apologies. Just give me a second, please. Okay. Look at here. We have AND gates, and for the sake of simplicity, I just use 2 keys. Imagine that you have 100 keys in a row. It's going to be the same logic. This lamp is going to be on only if all the keys are closed or all of them are 1, if you consider the close status equal to 1. Does that make sense? Guys, I repeat it again. Imagine that you have 100 keys. So the lamp is going to be on only and only if all the keys are going to be on. If it is clear, please type 1. Thank you very much. You're awesome. One question from you guys. What if the first key that I check is open? Should I check any of the rest of 99 conditions? Well, nobody's gonna say, don't go that road, Reza. It's just wasting energy to check because I'm going to have positive answer or true status when all of them. So if the first one is false, no need to check the rest. Look at the OR condition. Guys, please pay attention to this one. We have A, B, C. Imagine that we have 100 different keys. And the result would be 1. The lamp would be on only if just one of these keys is close or equal to 1, if you want to consider close as equal to 1. Right? Let me ask you one thing. If just the first key, like A, is already closed, do I need to go and check the rest of 99 keys? Or I already know the answer? In this case, as you see, don't worry, Sherry. Thanks for participating. The good thing is, even if we make any mistake, which I don't consider it as mistake, I consider it as experience, we are going to remember it forever. So if we say the first one is already 1, you don't need to check because the guy is going to find the path from here. I can just, make the lamp on. So that's a kind of efficient way that we use in algorithms to make them more efficient. Getting to the next part, this is just explanation, and you already have that file. If you look at your course content, that's an Excel file that I have shared. So, and I mentioned the address that I have borrowed those beautifully designed shapes. So the operator that we are going to have, any of these guys, you know that star means exponentiation, and negation is we call it unary operator. Just we have 1. Multiplication, division. What is the difference between div and if you say divide? This is kind of integer division. So if you say 5 divided by 2, just 1, the result would be 2.5. But if here you use truncate, it's going to be 2. So it's not going to show the, this is modular, and that's going to show you the remainder. Instead of saying all this, let's just have practices, and you're going to enjoy more. So everybody, if I say B, which is 200, greater than A, show me that message. So you're going to see it's going to show me that. What if I say, what is my problem here? Let me just make it a little bit difficult. It's exactly the same as before. Can anybody help me? What is my mistake here? Adi, bravo, lovely. Michael, merci. Amanda, awesome. Exactly. This environment is super sensitive about if I just, and the solution is super easy. You just delete it, press it again. It's going to automatically consider 4 spaces, or 1 tab for it. What if I say A is 33, B is 33, and if I say if B is greater than A, which is not, just show it is greater than. Else if we say if A is equal to B, say they are equal. You don't need to check. Some people, guys, this is how you can understand if somebody is a real developer. You don't need to add any more condition. The values could be either one value could be either greater than or equal. There's third option is nothing but less than. You don't need to check everything all the time. So by saying that, for instance, it says that A and B are equal. I intentionally wanted to have several conditions. And just do it at your convenience. In that case, it's going to tell you that A is greater than B, obviously. So this is a shorthand of if else. Look at this one. If A is greater than B, right? We print this one. The way that you have to read it, guys, as a kind of old school programmer, I prefer that one in general, that kind of style. But the way that we can just read this easily is print A for me if A is greater than B, else print B. For those who started reading, it shows that this is designed for people that they just want to start programming. I repeat it again. The way that you can read it is this way. Print for me A if A is greater than B, else print B. I think that for those who just started programming, this one is even easier compared to the things that I grew up with. Okay, let's see and here. And here we have two conditions. If A is greater than B, 200 is greater than 33, yes. And C is greater than A, which 500 is greater than 200. Say both conditions are true, right? You can just say else, say one of them, or both of them are not correct, that kind of thing. Right? What if you say A greater than B or A greater than 3, than C, which is 500. This one is not correct, but when I just check this one, I don't need even to bother going any further. I just got the lamp on. That's enough. I don't need to check the rest. Does that make sense? So if I run that, it's going to show me at least one of the conditions is true, which is true. Okay, guys, if everything is super clear till this moment, please give me another high five. Thank you. Excellent. Okay. Abdullah, Farmer, Justine, Fatima, Michael, Sherry, Matthew, Alexis. Okay, look at this one. If I say if x is greater than 10, look at the kind of nested. We have one if else condition in the same level. So we say if x is greater than 10, then check if x is greater than 20, then say the value that you have is greater than 10, right? And also greater above 20. True. Else, it is greater than 10. For instance, if it is, let's just try it. If it is 15, but it's not above 20. Let's just run that. It says above 10 and also above 20. Oh, what if I just say 15? It is going to pass this check, but it's going to fail this one and trap into this part, right? So it's going to say above 10, but not above 20. What if I just use something like 4? That's going to show you below 10 because we do not get trapped in the first if, and we get to the else condition. Okay, what if we have, well, we are going to start for loops, and for loops are super easy in Python environment. You don't need to worry about index. So we just simply use a concept pretty close to for each concept in other languages. So technically we have something like for each. Here I say for num in range 0 to 10, definitely not including 10. We always have the left side inclusive, the right side exclusive. Just if we say print none. Okay. What if instead of that, I just say none? What's going to happen, guys? Just try it. Sherry, this is one of, do you remember that we talked? Yeah, the reason for that, I remember that I mentioned in 90% of the cases, if you say print and you don't say like what, like if I say A is equal to 10, and if I say A, it's going to show you 10. But if I say print A, it's going to show you the same thing. Why I emphasize very much on this, I remember at least 5, 6 students in the midterm exam, they got the wrong answer because I used, for instance, A instead of, and they said it shouldn't show anything. I was like, no, in 90% of the cases it shows, unless that it is something like inside a for loop. So in that case, we don't. Just W3 schools is one of the places in cases if you want to practice. And do you see that it started somehow the same iterations that it went through? So for instance, I want to check for loops. I go here, I see something, and I borrowed these examples from here. So if I just say run, it's going to just show you the, for every single element inside. Normally, the best practice is saying for every fruit in fruits, for every employee in employees, for every product in products. That's a kind of nicer way of naming the stuff. But anyway, the examples, to clarify more, are borrowed from here. So at your convenience, I just brought you the most important part. So if I say for X in banana, what if I just use 1? And remember, here I said end is nothing. The default for that is backslash, actually. There's a new line. Look at this one. It's going to show you banana like this. But if I bring it back to what it was, means that, hey, for each print, do not go to a new line, right? Oh, don't worry, Sherry, just do whatever you're doing. You're amazing. Just participate the way that you participate. Okay. How about while? I'm not going to bring you to examples, but just here, it's like this one. I borrowed the other examples from here. I say I is equal to 1 as long as I is less than 6. Just keep printing that. And look at this one. If by any chance I just make this, then that would be horrible if I just run it, right? That would be the worst thing that we could ever do. It's a non-stop kind of infinite loop, right? And you just need to just stop it like that. Because you never increase the I value inside the loop. So I is going to keep being 1. That's why make sure, and you can see that how the indentation that we have is important. Now simply, it's going to just show you 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 5. Okay. Let me just see if the questions are, what if I want to print the index and the value with the for loop? Very simple. The good thing is you can just say, for instance, I, the same as here, right? You're going to just say I equal to 0, something like that. And you print two things at the same time and you add the index at the same time, right? Just imagine that you print to the in the interest of time, I just show one example. So you see that, imagine that we have a list here and we are going to just use that. Or if we have a list, we are going to just imagine that the list is A. We are going to say I, and if the list, I'm just fabricating. How many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4. Something like that. Oh, I am sorry. My apologies for the first attempt. So, Zhao, I'm not sure if I pronounce your name correctly. So you see that here I have a list that contains all those values. And if you want to have something like index and those values, you can just simply, well, no, we can't. We can't. So this is one of the solutions that we can just use. Okay. Imagine what one of the things that I very much liked instead of having at the beginning. Right now, because of, I mean, years of working with that, but I remember at the time that my brain was searching for like curly braces. It was like, why they use just this indentation, so they have to use just curly braces, ease the job. Um, that's how they designed it. We just use it. The thing is, what if we just, this is not a good practice. Okay, on my pleasure. Good question, Mary. If we say while true, that works, but in some cases you see that it doesn't. It's not the best practice. The best could be saying that, for instance, my flag is equal to true, and then you just use that my flag. You might say, Reza, what is the difference between these two? In some cases, that's strange that in some cases, this one, if you just simply say while true, it doesn't work. I intentionally kept it as it is based on the slides that we have. Just to mention, in some cases, you see it doesn't work. So that is a good practice that you assign that true or false into a variable and then do it like that. So it says that positive, it just accept, let's just say, if the number is greater than 0, imagine that you want to enter the grades of people. If I say -10, it says that enter a positive number. -1, still we are there. But if I say 10, done, and it says you have entered number 10. So the same thing here, the break is going to bring us outside the loop. I'm going to answer the questions later. We have still some stuff that we need to finish. Sorry. So if I say I is equal to 1, as long as I is less than 6, print I. If, look at this one, so 1 is going to get printed, 2 is going to get printed. When it comes to 3, 3 is going to get printed, but if 3 is equal to 3, which is correct, then break means go after the while loop, right? But what about continue? Continue means just keep doing except when you get to that value. And then intentionally, I wanted to simplify. Okay, let me just use this one. Continue. Guys, can you please, and no wrong or right answer. Just try this and tell me what would be the answer for this, please. Um, one, two. Alexis, no, it is a correct answer because people could get 0 if they don't participate in the course and they just register. It is correct. Infinite loop. Simon gave us the correct answer. Look at this one. It means that print 1, print 2, print 3, but is 3 equal to 3? Yes. Then continue. The problem is we already have printed that. You know what I'm saying? If you really want this one to work, because surprising, oh, infinite loop. Sorry, it never checks unless that I bring this guy here. My Paul, yeah. Right? So in that case, if I really want to print this guy, and that triggers, we need to bring this one here. First, we check if I is equal 3, then continue. Otherwise, print I and add into it. So that is why I wanted you to see, actually, I forgot to add the values first here. You're gonna see, again, there is 3 because we didn't check it. We need to check, we need to add the values here. Yeah. Now I learned the lesson first to just, you see that here we have 2, we have not 3, 5, and 6. You might say, Rosa, I want to print 1 as well. So just add that thingy. Let's see what is happening here, guys. First, I is equal to 0. As long as I is less than 6, just keep doing. First, I'm going to add 1 into it. So what is the value of I after this line? It's going to be 1. Is 1 equal to 3? No, then print it. We do that for the next round, which I is equal to 2. Is 2 equal to 3? No, then print it. But the question, the main question in here is, for the next round, is 3 is equal to 3? Yes, then do not go to the rest, continue with the while. So we just jump back to the while, and it is going to show you the next value, which is 4, right? Because you add it, now 4 is not equal to 3, print it, and 5, and is 5 less than 6? Yes, add 1 into it and print it. Then the next thing is, the next round, 6 is not less than 6, so it's not going to print 7, right? That's how it works. Okay, let's go to this one. If I say number, actually, this is the correct version of what I wanted to explain. If I say num is equal to 1, as long as num is less than 10, just print and add into it. It's going to be 1 all the way to 9. But what if I say, if num is greater than 5 and less than 8, means which numbers it could be? It could be 6 and 7. Add 1 into them and just continue. Do not print them. Lovely, Sherry. Yes, for 6 and 7, we do not do anything. But for the rest, we are going to print those numbers and add to them. Does that make sense, everyone? Okay. Look at the result. It's going to be, thank you very much. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not 6, not 7. And yes, continue and break could happen with for loop as well. So you see that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not 6, because 6 is greater than 5 and it's less than 8. 7 greater than 5, less than 8. But when we go to 8, then 8 is greater than 5, correct, but it is not less than 8. And is valid, and both of them are correct. Awesome. So now we go to the comprehension. This is something that, again, for people that are from old type of languages like C, C++, C#, it takes a little while to understand. So that's why I provided both versions. Imagine that we have a vector 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we say the result is equal to, show me the x for all the x's in vector in here, if the remainder of division by 2 is equal to 0. In other words, show me the even numbers. A little bit hard to grasp. Show me all the x's. Better to say, put all those values inside result. Show me all the x's. For the x's in vector, if the division by 2 is equal to 0, means for these numbers, and show me the values. Does that make sense? The old-fashioned way of writing that is like this. I have a result at the beginning, empty list. For every x in vector, check if the remainder is equal, the remainder is equal to 0, the remainder of division by 2. If it is even number, just append that one into the result list. So it goes to the first 2. Is the remainder of division by 2 is equal to 0? Yes. Then add it to the result. Then how about 3? No. How about 4? Yes. How about 5? No. How about 6? So it's going to just do exactly the same thing, right? Okay. Reza, do you insist to use this approach like 39 or 40? That's up to you guys. This is just a style of coding. I don't pick on anyone that uses the modern form. Still, I prefer the old-fashioned. Okay, how about this one? This is how you read it. Put all the x to the power of 2's into result 2 for me. For every single x in vec, which for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If the remainder of the division by 2 is equal to 0 and the x is less than 5, so it's going to be for 2, for 3, and for 4. This is the less than 5 kind of thing, but the division of 3 by 2 is not going to be the remainder is not going to be 0, so it's going to be technically 2 and 4. 2 to the power of 2, 4. 4 to the power of 2, 16, and that is why we have it. Okay. We don't have time. I always ask people to challenge themselves to write this one into the old-fashioned form. Now I think that for everybody it is simple. We have an empty list at the beginning. We say for every single element that we have in vector, if it is, let's just say it's in a simple way. if it is an even number, and if it is less than 5, just append that x to the power of 2 to the result, and then just print it for me. You have the code, you have the explanation. I'm gonna upload the videos in a few minutes after the class. It takes almost 20 minutes to sometimes even more, just to be ready. These new forms are kind of strange at the beginning, but not a bad idea. Let's just use this opportunity that we cover all this to try our best to understand. Guys, this is super simple. If you just don't say this part, look what's gonna happen. It's gonna show 65, 66, all the way to 50 to 91, but not including 91. You see that? But if you say, hey, with the step of 5, I'm sorry, with the step of 5, it's going to show you 65, then add 5 into it, 70, 75, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? Okay. If everything is super fine, yeah, I waited to make sure that the class code is. Just please give me a second. I want to do something with the rest of the things that we need to do today. Okay. So why I said 90 plus 1, because in the examples that we have in the slides, it mentioned something. I wanted to just make it as similar as possible to that one. What if I say, instead of printing x, print the character for x? What's going to happen? 65, the ASCII code for it is A. For 70, it is F, and so on and so forth, right? Does that make sense? Thank you, the buffer. And now I'm going to say, let's add all those elements. We say my list, which is empty at the beginning. Let's append all those characters into it. And guess what? If I say my list, it's going to just show you those ones. Okay, this time I just did it the other way around. It's exactly like saying, hey, show me the characters. Show me the character of x's. That's the better way of saying it. Show me the character of x's for every single x that I have in this range. Step 5. It exactly does the same thing. It's like saying for x in the range of 65 to 91. This is this part. And I say, thank you very much. Yes. Appreciate Sherry. Sherry was kind enough to share the ASCII codes. So if you see, this is the ASCII code for A is 65, then 70, 75, 80, 85, and 90. So that's how it works. This is what we had in the slide, and I just wanted to make it. If you just say, my list is equal, guys, this is something that we need to consider. Whenever you don't see any result, the result is suppressed, means that it is stored that result somewhere. Now in this example, it is in my list. And now if you say, show me the content of my list, it's going to show you the same thing. How about this one? The same, showing me the x's for x in range of things, but because we said 90, it's not going to include 90. So that's why you don't have Z here. Does that make sense? And the other way that you could say that, guys, this is, everybody, please tell me, did you understand this one? If yes, please type 1. We don't have that much number of ones. I repeat it once. Look at this one. I said for every x in the range of 65 to 91, step 5 means 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, but 91 for sure. Bring me the character of those values, so 65a and so on and so forth. It's exactly the same as this line that you have in your book, but it's not very much clear. So that is why I just wanted to tell you the easier version. No matter if you say from range 65 to 91, if not divisible by okay, let me just tell you one thing, guys. Look at this part. If I say x is 60, tell me one thing. 60 divided by 5. What is the remainder? Can you please tell me? No, I said, what is if I say 60 divided by 5, the remainder? Oh, awesome. It's going to be 0, right? Lovely, lovely. In that case, if I want to say what is the Boolean value for that? Because it is 0, it's going to be false. Look at this one. If I say x is equal to, lovely, yes, Abdullah. If I say x is equal to 15, the remainder of that divided by 5 would be 0. And if I say what is the Boolean value for that, it's going to be false, right? So this part is going to be false if it is divisible by 5. If you say not, means true if it is divisible by 5. Does that make sense? Technically, I said here, after conversion, I just said, hey, not of this one. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say true. So for 60, look at this one. For 60, it's going to be true. For 65, it's going to be true. We start with C from 65, my bad. But what if I just say 67? Then it's going to be false. You got it? Guys, the whole key is in here. If you got that part, tiny, teeny things, then I can feel happy because this is the most challenging formula that we had for today. Look at this one again. If I say 60 divided by 5, there is no remainder, it's going to be 0. So it's going to show you false. It's going to show you false. Right? But if I say, what if we say not of that? It's going to be true. So for 65, for 70, for 75, and so on and so forth, show me those values. That's it. Show me the character of those values. If you don't get that one in this session, spend a little bit of time. You're going to be fine with it. Okay. It's a little bit challenging. The class is recorded. I explained it a few times, but look at this one. X, which was 15, divided by 5, the remainder 0. So what is the Boolean value for it? False. But if you say not of that, it's going to be true. So that is why not of x divided by the remainder of x divided by 5 would be true. And that is why now it is understandable. Even something more to make it clearer, I could say for every x in that range, please check if the remainder of that is equal to 0, just print that value for me. Does that make sense? Okay. And if you just say, what about print the character of it, it's going to show those values. You see the differences between these two. It's exactly the same thing. Now you know the differences. We have one concept. There is no time. I have just 3 minutes. So I don't bring you to the link. This is the gist of it. Or it is something like the reverse of car. And by saying that, it means if you have a character, it is going to show you the ASCII code for them. So the ASCII code for capital H is 72, for small e it is 101, and so on and so forth. I said here, for every X in this string, as long as it is an alphabet, means no exclamation mark, no space, no 1, 2, 3, just show me the equivalent ASCII code. What if I say, show me the numbers, the numerical values? So it's going to be the numerical value for 1, which is 49, for 2, which is 50, and for 3, which is 51. Here it is super simple. I say we have a vector. We say that for every X, let's just show X and X to the power of 2 for every X that we have in vector. So it's going to show us a duo of 2 and 2 to the power of 2, 4 and 4 to the power of 2, and so on and so forth. What if I just say, replace the index number 2, guys, this is index number 0, index number 1, and index number 2. Replace it with 0 and 0 and show me the result. It's going to be like that. Right? And how about if I say x comma x to the power of 2 for x in, it's exactly doing it again. Just the thing is, I reset the values, and if I say it's a tuple, look at this one. If I say the difference between these two, guys, now you know the things. Here I said, let's have a tuple of x and x to the power of 2. And let's bring the values into the index number 2. It's going to show you there. And I just want to make sure that nothing is left. Oopsie. Let me just run all this. My apologies. I'm going to ask you to stay for just 3 more minutes to make sure that we finish the content of this. There is not much left. And then if I just show you the result, it's going to show you that. Look at this one. Here we have first row. Thank you very much. Second row and third row. So we are going to say for every element in a row and for every row in the matrix, do this. Look at this one. I want to have I for every row in the matrix and for every I in each row. It's a little bit confusing. That is why we never use that. We just simply use a function which is called flatten in deep learning, machine learning. But it has come from somewhere like this. So you have to start from here for every row in matrix. And for every I in that row that you search in matrix, just pick I. So it's going to show you something like this. The other thing is, I for A in my matrix, for I in A. I just changed that from row to A to tell you that, guys, A is not a sacred word or reserved word that it means something special. It's just a variable. The old-fashioned way of saying that it's like this, for every row in matrix, and for every I in that row, print I. Instead of saying print I, you simply can have a list, empty list, and say appended to I. It gives you exactly the same result. Guys, I'm from the generation that I understand this one better compared to this one. I hope for you this one is going to be more understandable. Here we say, let's have a vector that consists of 2, 4, and 6. What if I say every element that we have here multiplied by x, for every x that we have there? It's going to just show you 18, 12, and 16, right? What if you have, guys, this is super important. You have 2, 4, 6, 2, 2, 4, 3. You have 2 4s, 3 2s. Repetition has no value in the sets. So that is why we still have 9, 18, 12, 6, and not 2, or for instance, not lots of, 9, 3 times 2s. The last thing that we want to learn is, you remember the key values that we had. So the original value that we have here is 2. The original key is TWO, right, in letters. What if you want to switch these two? We exactly have important application of this when you want to flip the key values. So we say, hey, show me the value keys for every key values that you have in original item. Means that now 2 is going to be a new key, and TWO would be the new values. So we flip these two. This is one way of showing it. You can save it into new original and just show it. My sincere appreciation for you to stay 4 minutes longer than the original time that it should. Would you please just, as the last thing, go to the assessments and check if the quiz 3 is visible for you? Thank you, Abdul Ghaffar. Is it? Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it again. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see you next week. Ciao. You said you have a quiz today. We always have quiz, Nelson. We always have quiz every week. Yeah.